The endless war. The vast expanse of the Milky Way had known little peace for over 10,000 years. Two colossal factions, the Zarkan Empire and the Vexari Collective, had waged a relentless war that engulfed countless star systems and left entire sectors of space scared and lifeless. The conflict had become so deeply ingrained in their societies that neither side could remember its original cause, only that they must fight on or face annihilation. In a remote corner of the galaxy, on a small blue planet called Earth, humanity had quietly observed this cosmic drama unfold. For centuries, they had listened to the distant echoes of battle, intercepted transmissions filled with alien tongues, and pieced together the tragic history of a war without end. Admiral Alina Chen stood at the helm of the USS Peacekeeper, Earth's most advanced starship, cloaked in the shadow of a gas giant at the edge of human-controlled space. Her dark eyes scanned the holographic display before her, taking in the latest intelligence reports from their stealth probes scattered throughout the war zone. "Status update, Commander Reyes," she ordered, her voice calm but tinged with the weight of responsibility. Commander Diego Reyes, a tall man with sharp features and a meticulously trimmed beard, stepped forward. "Admiral, our latest data confirms that the Zarkin and Vexari fleets are amassing near the Nexus Prime system. It appears they're preparing for another major engagement." Elena nodded, her mind racing through the implications. Nexus Prime was a strategic choke point, home to an ancient alien artifact that could amplify faster than light travel. Whoever controlled it would gain a significant advantage in the war. "Casualties projections?" she asked, dreading the answer. Reyes hesitated before responding. "Conservative estimates suggest at least 3 billion sentient lives will be lost if the battle proceeds as previous engagements have." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. The crew of the Peacekeeper, handpicked from Earth's finest, had trained for years for this moment. They represented humanity's best hope for ending a war that had raged since before their ancestors had mastered fire. Alina turned to face her crew, her expression resolute. "We've watched from the shadows long enough. It's time for humanity to step onto the galactic stage." Dr. Amelia Foster, the ship's chief xenobiologist, spoke up. "Admiral, are we certain this is the right course of action? Our simulations show a high risk of both sides turning against us if we intervene." Elena understood the scientist's concerns. Earth had debated this decision for decades, weighing the risks of involvement against the moral imperative to act. "We can't stand by any longer, Doctor. Every day we wait, more worlds burn, more civilizations are lost. We have the technology and the perspective to end this madness." She turned back to the holographic display, zooming in on the swirling vortex of Nexus Prime. "Humanity has always thrived when faced with impossible odds. We've overcome plagues, unified our planet, and reached for the stars. Now we have a chance to save not just our world, but an entire galaxy." Commander Reyes cleared his throat. "Admiral, I've just received word from Earth Command. Operation Stardust has been authorized. We have a green light to proceed." Elena took a deep breath, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. This moment would define humanity's place in the cosmos for generations to come. "Very well. Helm, set course for Nexus Prime. Communications, prepare the first contact package. Weapons, bring all systems to standby." As the ESS Peacekeeper's engines hummed to life, breaking its long silence, Alina addressed her crew one final time. "What we're about to do will change the course of galactic history. We carry with us the hopes and dreams of Earth, and the promise of peace for countless alien civilizations. Whatever happens next, know that we stand on the right side of history." The massive ship gracefully emerged from its hiding place, its sleek design unlike anything the warring factions had ever seen. As it accelerated towards the impending battle, the crew felt a mix of anticipation and trepidation. Unbeknownst to the aliens locked in their ancient conflict, humanity was about to make its grand entrance. The Zarkan Empire and the Vexari Collective had no idea that their war was about to come to an abrupt and unexpected end. As the ESS Peacekeeper approached the outskirts of the Nexus Prime system, long-range sensors detected the gathering fleets of both factions. Thousands of warships, from nimble fighters to massive dreadnoughts, formed a deadly dance around the swirling energies of the ancient artifact. Belina watched the tactical display with a mixture of awe and determination. Prepare the quantum entanglement communicator. It's time to introduce ourselves to the galaxy. With a simple command, humanity announced its presence to two ancient civilizations poised on the brink of mutual annihilation. The message was short, transmitted simultaneously in both Zarkin and Vexari languages. Attention, warriors of the Zarkin Empire and the Vexari Collective. We are representatives of Earth, a neutral third party. Your conflict ends today. You have 1 standard galactic hour to cease hostilities and withdraw your forces. Failure to comply will result in our intervention. Choose wisely. As the message echoed across the battlefield, the ESS Peacekeeper emerged from faster-than-light travel, its advanced stealth systems deactivating to reveal a ship of unprecedented size and design. The stage was set for humanity's debut in galactic affairs, and the next hour would determine the fate of countless civilizations. Belina Chen stood tall, her eyes fixed on the stars ahead. And now, she said softly, we wait. First contact. The arrival of the ESS Peacekeeper sent shockwaves through the assembled fleets of the Zarkin Empire and the Vexari Collective. For a brief moment, the war that had raged for millennia came to a stuttering halt as both sides struggled to comprehend the sudden appearance of an unknown vessel. Admiral Elena Chen watched the tactical display with razor-sharp focus, noting the chaotic movements of the alien ships as they reacted to humanity's presence. Commander Reyes, status report on the alien fleets. Reyes' fingers danced across his console, interpreting the flood of data from the Peacekeeper's advanced sensors. The Zarkin fleet is adopting a defensive formation around their flagship, the Eternal Flame. The Vexari are scattered. It seems they're having difficulty coordinating their response. Dr. Amelia Foster leaned in, her eyes wide with fascination. Remarkable. Their communication protocols must be fundamentally different. The Vexari appear to rely on some form of quantum entanglement for faster-than-light communication, while the Zarkin use more conventional subspace channels. Elena nodded, filing away the information for later analysis. And their weapons? Scanning now, Admiral, Rice replied. Both sides possess energy weapons far beyond anything we've encountered before. Plasma cannons, antimatter missiles, even what appears to be some form of gravitational distortion device. A tense silence fell over the bridge as the crew of the Peacekeeper realized the devastating power they faced. Humanity's technology was advanced, but they had never been tested in actual combat against such formidable opponents. Elena's voice cut through the quiet. Remember your training. We knew this wouldn't be easy, but we're humanity's best hope for ending this war. Stay focused. As if on cue, the communications officer called out, Admiral, we're receiving transmissions from both factions. On screen, Elena ordered, straightening her uniform. The main view screen split in two, revealing the alien leaders of both warring factions. On the left was Supreme Archon Zarsek of the Zarkin Empire, a towering figure with iridescent scales and multiple arms, each adorned with ceremonial weapons. On the right was High Synapse Vexera of the Vexari Collective, a being of pure energy contained within a complex exoskeleton. Supreme Archon Zarsek spoke first, his voice a rumbling bass that seemed to vibrate the very air. Unknown vessel, you dare to interrupt our holy crusade. Identify yourselves immediately or face annihilation. Before Elena could respond, High Synapse Vexera interjected, her voice a harmonic chorus of multiple tones. Silence. Zarkin filth. Newcomers, if you value your existence, you will ally with the Vexari Collective against these genocidal monsters. Elena took a deep breath, keenly aware that her next words could determine the fate of humanity and countless other species. I am Admiral Elena Chen of the Earth ship Peacekeeper. We are not here to take sides in your conflict. We are here to end it." Both alien leaders recoiled in surprise, clearly not expecting such a bold statement from an unknown species. "End our war?" Tsar 6 scoffed. "You know nothing of our struggle, of the atrocities committed by the Vexari Scourge." Vexara's form pulsed with agitation. "Your ignorance is astounding. The Zarkan have laid waste to entire sectors, eradicating all life in their path." Elena held up a hand, her calm demeanor a stark contrast to the heated emotions of the alien leaders. "We've observed your conflict for centuries. We've seen the devastation, the loss of life on an unimaginable scale. It ends today." She nodded to Commander Reyes, who activated a holographic display visible to both alien factions. It showed detailed maps of the galaxy, pinpointing key battles, destroyed worlds, and the ebb and flow of territory over thousands of years. "Your war has become a self-perpetuating cycle of destruction," Elena continued. "You fight because you've always fought, not because victory is achievable. We offer a third option: peace." Supreme Archon Zarsek's eyes narrowed. "And if we refuse your offer?" Elena's expression hardened. "Then we will be forced to demonstrate why that would be unwise. You have one standard galactic hour to stand down your forces and agree to negotiations. Otherwise, we will intervene." High Synapse, Vexara's form, crackled with energy. "You threaten us? One ship against our combined might. Your species must be mad." "Perhaps," Elena replied with a hint of a smile. "But we're also the only ones thinking clearly. 1 hour. The choice is yours." With that, she cut the transmission, leaving the alien leaders to ponder humanity's ultimatum. As soon as the screen went dark, the bridge erupted into a flurry of activity. Officers rushed to battle stations, sensors monitored every movement of the alien fleets, and tension hung thick in the air. Dr. Foster approached Elena, her voice low. "Admiral, do you really think they'll stand down? Millennia of hatred and war can't be erased with a single ultimatum." Elena's eyes remained fixed on the tactical display. "No, Doctor, I don't. But we had to give them the chance. It's what separates us from them." Commander Reyes joined them, his expression grim. "Admiral, long-range sensors are detecting significant power buildups in both fleets. I think they're preparing to attack us." Elena nodded, having expected this response. It seems the Zarkan and Vexari have found common ground after all. Pity it had to be in opposition to us. She turned to address the entire bridge crew. "This is what we've prepared for. Humanity stands on the precipice of a new era. Whatever happens in the next hour will echo through history. Let's make sure it's a story worth telling." As the minutes ticked by, the crew of the USS Peacekeeper watched and waited. The alien fleets maneuvered into attack formations, their weapons charging, ready to unleash devastation upon the solitary human ship that dared to challenge their ancient conflict. Little did they know that humanity had not come unprepared. Hidden within the Peacekeeper's hull were technological marvels beyond anything the Zarkan or Vexari had ever encountered. Quantum-entangled defense systems, gravity manipulation engines, and weapons that could rewrite the very laws of physics on a localized scale. As the deadline approached, Elena Chen stood at the center of the bridge, a beacon of calm in the storm that was about to break. She knew that the next few moments would determine not just the fate of this battle, but the course of galactic history. "All hands," she announced, her voice steady and resolute, "prepare for combat. Let's show the galaxy what humanity can do." The clock ticked down, and 2 ancient alien armadas turned their combined might against a single Earth ship. The battle that would reshape the stars was about to begin. Diplomacy and deception. As the combined fleets of the Zarkan Empire and the Vexari Collective bore down on the USS Peacekeeper, Admiral Elena Chen made a decision that would alter the course of the impending battle. "Open a channel to both fleet commanders," she ordered, her voice cutting through the tense atmosphere on the bridge. Commander Reyes looked up from his console, surprised. "Admiral, they're less than 5 minutes from weapons range. Are you sure this is the time for more talk? Elena's eyes never left the tactical display. It's always time for diplomacy, Commander. Especially when the alternative is bloodshed. The main view screen flickered to life, once again split between the fierce visage of Supreme Archon Zarsek and the pulsating form of High Synapse Vexera. I see you've chosen to combine your forces against us, Elena began, her tone neutral. A wise tactical decision, but ultimately unnecessary. We're not here to fight you. Zarsek's scales rippled with barely contained rage. Your ultimatum says otherwise, human. You threaten us with intervention if we do not bend to your will. Vexera's energy form crackled. For once, I agree with the Zarkan butcher. Your actions speak of aggression, not peace. The Lina allowed herself a small smile. And yet, here we are, talking instead of shooting. That's progress. She paused, letting her words sink in. We've studied your conflict extensively. Both sides have committed atrocities, both have suffered immeasurable losses. But you're so caught up in the cycle of vengeance that you can't see a way out. She gestured, and a holographic display materialized, visible to both alien commanders. It showed a detailed map of disputed territories, resource-rich worlds, and strategic positions. We propose a ceasefire, followed by UN-mediated negotiations, Elena continued. Earth has no stake in your conflict. We can be impartial arbiters, helping you find a sustainable peace. For a moment, both alien leaders were silent, studying the proposal. It was Vexera who spoke first, her tone cautious. And what guarantee do we have that you won't simply use this opportunity to conquer us both? Elena's response was immediate, because if that were our goal, we wouldn't be talking right now. We'd be fighting. She leaned forward, her expression intense. Humanity has no desire for galactic domination. We seek knowledge, cooperation, and peaceful coexistence. But we will not stand by and watch as two great civilizations tear each other apart. Zarsek's multiple eyes narrowed. Pretty words, Admiral. But words are wind. How do we know you possess the power to enforce this peace you speak of? Elena exchanged a glance with Commander Reyes, who nodded almost imperceptibly. A fair question. Supreme Archon. Perhaps a demonstration is in order. With a series of rapid commands, Elena activated one of the Peacekeeper's most closely guarded weapons systems. A pulse of energy, invisible to the naked eye but blindingly bright on sensors, emanated from the human ship. Both alien fleets suddenly found their ships drifting, weapons and shields offline. Panic erupted across both command channels. Zarsek roared in fury, while Vexera's form fluctuated wildly. What have you done? Vexera demanded, her harmonic voice distorted by fear. Elena's voice remained calm. We've temporarily disabled your fleet's primary systems. No permanent damage has been done. Consider it a taste of what we're capable of if pushed to extremes. She let the implications of that sink in before continuing. But that's not who we are. We're offering you a chance to end this war, to save countless lives, and to forge a new future for both your peoples. As she spoke, the alien ships began to regain power, their systems slowly coming back online. The choice is yours, Elena concluded. Continue this endless war, or take a chance on peace. We'll await your decision. With that, she cut the transmission, leaving the alien leaders to contemplate their options. The bridge of the Peacekeeper was silent for a long moment before Dr. Foster spoke up. That was risky, Admiral. We've just demonstrated our technological superiority. What if they decide we're too dangerous to be left alone? Elena nodded, acknowledging the concern. It's a calculated risk, Doctor. We needed to show them that we have the power to back up our words. Now we wait and see how they react. Hours passed as the Zarkin and Vexeri leadership debated amongst themselves. The ESF Peacekeeper remained on high alert, ready for either diplomatic breakthrough or renewed hostilities. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, both alien factions signaled their readiness to talk. The negotiations that followed were tense, filled with millennia of distrust and hatred. But slowly, painstakingly, progress was made. Borders were redrawn, resource-sharing agreements were hammered out, and tentative steps towards mutual understanding were taken. As the talks stretched into days, Alina found herself acting not just as a mediator, but as a bridge between two cultures that had forgotten how to communicate without violence. Yet even as hope for peace grew, Alina couldn't shake a nagging feeling that something wasn't right. The alien leaders were too quick to agree on certain points, too willing to make concessions in areas they had fought over for centuries. It was during a brief recess in the negotiations that Commander Reyes approached her, his expression grave. "Admiral, we've detected some anomalous energy readings from both the Zarkin and Vexari fleets. It could be nothing, but..." Alina's instincts flared. But it could be something. What kind of readings? Reyes pulled up a series of charts on his datapad. Spikes in tachyon emissions, gravitational fluctuations. It's like they're charging weapons, but on a scale we've never seen before. Alina's mind raced, piecing together the puzzle. The aliens' sudden willingness to negotiate, their careful probing of Earth's capabilities, the strange energy readings. They're planning something, she realized aloud. The negotiations, the seeming progress towards peace. It's all been a ruse. She turned to Reyes, her voice sharp with urgency. "Battle stations, Commander, and get me a secure line to Earth. We need to warn them." As alarms blared throughout the Peacekeeper, Alina Chen prepared to face the true test of humanity's resolve. The Zarkan and Vexari had found common ground after all, in their determination to eliminate the human threat before it could upset the balance of their age-old conflict. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate not just of three species, but of the entire galaxy. And humanity, represented by a single ship and its crew, stood at the center of the storm. The Battle of Nexus Prime. The space around Nexus Prime erupted into chaos as the combined Zarkin and Vexari fleets launched their surprise attack on the USS Peacekeeper. The sudden betrayal caught the human ship in a deadly crossfire, energy beams, and gravitational weapons converging from all directions. Admiral Alina Chen's voice rang out clear and steady over the din of battle stations. "Evasive maneuvers. Activate quantum shields and prepare for counteroffensive." The Peacekeeper's advanced propulsion systems roared to life, the massive ship twisting and turning with impossible grace for its size. Beams of destructive energy that should have torn through hull plating instead dissipated harmlessly against shimmering quantum barriers. Commander Reyes called out from his station, "Admiral, we're detecting a massive energy buildup from both fleets. It looks like they're charging some kind of superweapon." Alina's mind raced, weighing options and potential outcomes in split seconds. They're not taking any chances. They want to obliterate us in one shot. She turned to her weapons officer. "Lieutenant Zhang, status on our primary weapons systems." Zhang's fingers danced across her console. Particle lances at 100%, graviton disruptors charged and ready, dimensional shifters online. "We're good to go, Admiral." "Excellent." Alina nodded. "Target their superweapon platforms. We need to take those out before they can fire." As the Peacekeeper maneuvered through the storm of enemy fire, its own weapons blazed to life. Streams of hyper-accelerated particles lanced out, punching through the shields of Zarkin dreadnoughts as if they were tissue paper. Graviton disruptors created localized areas of intense gravity, crushing Vexari ships into compact balls of twisted metal. But the alien fleets were vast, and for every ship destroyed, two more took its place. The Peacekeeper found itself surrounded, the noose tightening with each passing moment. Dr. Foster rushed onto the bridge, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and excitement. "Admiral, I've been analyzing the energy signatures of their superweapon. It's incredible. They've somehow found a way to harness the power of the Nexus Prime artifact." Alina's brow furrowed. "Explain, Doctor." "Quickly. The artifact amplifies faster than light travel, right? Well, they've reversed the process. They're using it to create a massive subspace rift. If they succeed, it could tear apart the fabric of space-time itself. The implications were staggering. Such a weapon could potentially destroy not just the Peacekeeper, but the entire star system, perhaps even cascading to consume large swaths of the galaxy. Elena's voice was grim as she addressed her crew. We can't let that weapon fire. No matter the cost, we have to stop it. She turned to her chief engineer. Rodriguez, what options do we have? Chief Engineer Maria Rodriguez had been with the project since its inception, and if anyone could pull off a miracle, it was her. We could try to use our dimensional shifters to create a localized pocket of altered spacetime, she suggested. It might be enough to disrupt their weapons targeting systems. Do it, Elena ordered without hesitation. As Rodriguez and her team worked feverishly to recalibrate the ship's systems, the battle raged on. The Peacekeepers' defenses held, but they were being worn down by the relentless assault. Suddenly, alarms blared across the bridge. Admiral, Rice shouted. They're firing the superweapon. Time seemed to slow as a blinding beam of energy erupted from the Nexus Prime artifact, amplified and directed by the alien fleets. It surged towards the Peacekeeper, reality itself warping in its wake. Now, Rodriguez, Elena commanded. With a surge of power that dimmed lights across the ship, the Peacekeeper's dimensional shifters activated. A bubble of altered spacetime enveloped the human vessel just as the alien superweapon struck. The resulting collision of energies was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Space itself seemed to twist and fold, stars blinking in and out of existence as fundamental forces warred with each other. For a moment, it seemed as if the universe itself held its breath. Then, with a flash that outshone suns, the energy dissipated. The Peacekeeper emerged, battered but intact, while the alien superweapon platform collapsed in on itself, consumed by the very forces it had tried to control. Stunned silence fell over the battlefield. The Zarkin and Vexari fleets, their ultimate weapon neutralized, found themselves facing a foe that had not only survived their best shot, but had turned it against them. Elena wasted no time pressing the advantage. All weapons, fire at will. Target their command ships and communication relays. Let's end this. The Peacekeeper surged forward, its weapon systems unleashing a barrage that the galaxy had never witnessed before. Particle beams sliced through capital ships. Dimensional shifters teleported entire squadrons into the paths of their allies, and graviton disruptors crushed the mighty engines of dreadnoughts. In the span of minutes, the tide of battle had turned completely. The once mighty alien armadas found themselves in disarray, their coordination shattered, their most powerful weapons useless against the human ship's defenses. As the realization of defeat settled in, Elena opened a channel to the remaining alien commanders. This is Admiral Elena Chen of the USS Peacekeeper. Your superweapon has been destroyed. Your fleets are in ruins. Stand down now, and we can still negotiate a peaceful resolution. Continue fighting, and we will be forced to annihilate what remains of your forces. For a tense moment, there was no response. Then, one by one, alien ships began powering down their weapons. The great Zarkin dreadnoughts, their hulls scared and burning, raised white flags of surrender. Vexari cruisers transmitted surrender codes on all frequencies. The battle of Nexus Prime was over. Humanity had faced the combined might of two ancient warlike civilizations and emerged victorious. As the adrenaline of combat faded, Elena looked out at the aftermath of the battle. Debris from thousands of ships drifted silently through space, a grim reminder of the cost of war. But amidst the destruction, there was hope. For the first time in 10,000 years, the guns had fallen silent. Send out rescue shuttles, Elena ordered. Render aid to all survivors, regardless of species, and prepare for negotiations. The real work begins now. As the crew of the Peacekeeper set about their tasks, Elena allowed herself a moment of reflection. Humanity had made its debut on the galactic stage in a way no one could have predicted. They had come seeking peace and had been forced to demonstrate their strength. Now they faced the monumental task of rebuilding and uniting a fractured galaxy. The Battle of Nexus Prime would be remembered for millennia as the day everything changed. And humanity, for better or worse, would be at the center of that change. A new galactic order. In the weeks following the Battle of Nexus Prime, the galaxy held its collective breath. The Zarkan Empire and the Vexari Collective, once bitter enemies locked in eternal conflict, now found themselves united in defeat and uncertainty. At the center of it all stood humanity, represented by the USS Peacekeeper and its crew, tasked with the monumental challenge of forging a lasting peace. Admiral Elena Chen stood at the head of a vast conference table aboard a hastily constructed space station orbiting Nexus Prime. Around her sat the leaders of a dozen alien races, including the chastened Supreme Archon Zarsek and High Synapse Vexera. The atmosphere was tense, filled with a mix of fear, curiosity, and cautious hope. "We stand at a crossroads," Elena began, her voice carrying the weight of recent events. "For 10,000 years, this galaxy has known nothing but war. Today, we have the opportunity to chart a new course, one of cooperation, understanding, and mutual prosperity." Zarsek's scales rippled with agitation. "And who are you to dictate the terms of this new course, human? Your species is barely out of its cradle compared to ours." Vexera's energy form pulsed in agreement. "You've demonstrated your military might, yes. But how can we trust that you won't simply become the new tyrants of the galaxy?" Elena had anticipated this resistance. She activated a holographic display, showing the devastation wrought by millennia of conflict. Barren worlds, shattered civilizations, entire species extinct. "This is the legacy of your war," she said softly. "We didn't come here to conquer or to rule. We came to end the senseless destruction. Yes, we used force when diplomacy failed. But now we extend our hand in peace once more." She gestured, and the hologram changed, showing images of Earth, its diverse ecosystems, bustling cities, and the long, often painful journey of human progress. "Humanity is young compared to your civilizations," Elena acknowledged. "But in our short history, we've learned valuable lessons about overcoming differences, about the strength that comes from diversity, about the power of cooperation over conflict. We offer not just our technology, but our perspective." Dr. Amelia Foster stepped forward, her eyes alight with excitement. "In just the short time we've had to study your technologies, we've made incredible breakthroughs. Imagine what we could accomplish if we worked together, sharing knowledge instead of hoarding it as weapons." The alien leaders murmured amongst themselves, a mix of skepticism and intrigue in their voices. A new voice spoke up. Xandor, leader of a neutral race that had long tried to broker peace between the warring factions. "I have observed these humans since their arrival. They possess a unique blend of determination and compassion. Perhaps they are the catalyst we have long needed." Slowly, tentatively, the mood in the room began to shift. Questions about trade, cultural exchange, and joint scientific ventures replaced accusations and demands for reparations. As the discussions progressed, Elena found herself not just mediating, but actively shaping the foundation of a new galactic society. The Terran Accords, as they came to be known, laid out a framework for cooperation that would change the face of the galaxy. Key points included the establishment of a galactic council with representatives from all sentient species to address interstellar disputes and coordinate joint efforts, a ban on superweapons and the weaponization of artifacts like Nexus Prime, with a joint task force to enforce compliance. Open sharing of non-military technologies to elevate all species and address common challenges like resource scarcity and environmental restoration. Cultural exchange programs to foster understanding and reduce the xenophobia that had fueled conflicts. A united effort to explore and colonize new worlds, ensuring equitable access to resources for all races. As the final documents were signed, Elena felt a profound sense of accomplishment tinged with humility. Humanity had achieved in weeks what millennia of war could not, a foundation for lasting peace. But challenges remained. Not everyone was happy with the new order. Extremist factions within both the Zarkin and Vexari societies saw cooperation as weakness. Pirate groups and mercenary bands, long profiting from the chaos of war, now faced an uncertain future. Moreover, humanity's sudden rise to prominence had not gone unnoticed by older, more enigmatic races lurking at the fringes of known space. Their intentions remained a mystery, a potential threat looming on the horizon. As the Peacekeeper prepared to return to Earth, carrying news of their incredible journey, Alina addressed her crew one last time. "What we've accomplished here is only the beginning," she said, her voice filled with determination. "We've shown the galaxy what humanity is capable of. Our strength, our innovation, our capacity for compassion. But our greatest challenges lie ahead. We must live up to the trust placed in us, to be not just peacekeepers, but bridge builders." She looked out at the stars, countless pinpoints of light representing worlds and civilizations forever changed by humanity's arrival. "We came to the stars seeking knowledge and adventure. We found a galaxy in need of hope. Now, it's up to us to help forge a future worthy of all sentient beings. The journey ahead will not be easy, but together, united in our diversity, there's no challenge we cannot overcome." As the USS Peacekeeper engaged its faster-than-light drive, leaving Nexus Prime behind, Alina Chen couldn't help but smile. Humanity had made its galactic debut in a way no one could have predicted. They had arrived as observers, become reluctant warriors, and emerged as architects of a new era. The stars stretched into streaks of light as the ship accelerated, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of countless beings across the galaxy. The age of endless war was over. The age of exploration, cooperation, and limitless potential had begun. And humanity, once a tiny spark in the vast cosmic ocean, now stood ready to help light the way forward.